There we go. Hello, everyone. We're in a different room today than usual because it's hot upstairs and rainy here in Baltimore. So today is May 4th and it's warm and we're going to start out on our backs, maxing and relaxing. For this practice, it will be helpful to have a strap-like object or a belt or a tie or a piece of rope and bloody glove and blocks, 2 blocks or block-like objects, and a folded up blanket. A pillow is fine too. So we're gonna start on our backs, and feel free to take one of these blocks. I'll show from the side real quick, and I'm gonna put this kind of like right below the points of my shoulder blades here. So it's kind of like around the brow line for bra wearers. And I'm just gonna lay it down and lay out over it. You can put a blanket, already it's wonderful. You can put a blanket under your head if you like. And then from here you have some options with your legs. Knees can either be bent, soles of the feet flat on the ground, knees knocking in together, feet spread about mat's width. So it's a knock knee pose, or what we get, what's Heather called the constructive rest, or something, productive rest. I don't know, whatever kind of rest this is. That's one option. Another is Shavasana legs, which is legs coming straight out from the hips. The third, for those who have fairly open hips or wish to open their hips more, is to bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees lay out wide to the side in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle posture. Arms, your choice. You could rest your hands on the sort of rib split lower sternum area. This is called the xiphoid process. Or you can take your arms and rest them overhead and grab one wrist with the other hand. Or, they can be down by your side, Shavasana arms, that's fine too. If your fingertips are resting on the ribs and that split right at the bottom of the sternum, no whale sounds in this yoga class, feel free to find that area where the sternum ends, the xiphoid process, or the top of the solar plexus. And using the pads of the fingers and not the tips of the fingers, you can kind of press in there and start rotating the fingers in little circles. Just gently pressing in. It's sort of at that top of the center of the rib cage, but below the sternum. So to show the camera right here. There you go. And I'm just going to gently kind of press in there and rotate my fingers. Not that we're counting, not that anyone's counting, but if I was counting, I would count to 36. But it's too hot to keep count of things, so no need to count. And then when you're ready, you can take those little circles and massage the other way. Just a gentle massage for the heart region. Let me keep going.
Something. Let's do it. Twist.
Oh, a twist sounds lovely.
I'll do it.
All right, thank you.
Oh, wait, before we do that, are we done with this yet?
Whenever you like.
Okay. So, what I'd like you to do now is if you have anything under your back, we're going to take it out from under our back and we're going to lay right back down. If you have your legs in anything other than just, we're just going to put our legs in traditional Shavasana legs now. So out to the side and bring the arms down along the side. So just reconnecting with the back, breathing into the back, filling the back of the lungs. Feeling your back spread into the floor as you fill into the body, into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. And you can sort of rock a little bit. Let's do some rocking right here on our back. So you can just kind of take your hips side to side. You can take the feet back and forth, windshield wipers. You can flop the hands, palms face up, palms face down. You can turn the head side to side. But look, we're doing, what do you call this? Skeletal shaking, but we're not even, we're laying down and doing it. So let's bring the knees up into the chest, hug them in, rock a little side to side. And then let's let the knees fall over to the right side. And you can turn the head to the left if you like. You can take your arms out into a T. We're not going to be here too long. We're just going to do these real quick. Just stretch along the whole left side of the body. You can even take your right hand, put it on the outer upper left thigh and press down. Try to press your left shoulder into the mat as well. Big deep breaths all down, opening the left side of the body. And then we'll inhale the knees back up to center. And then you can let them fall over this time to the left. You can let the head turn to the right if you like. You can open out the arms into a T if you want. Okay. I don't. Now you can take if you want, you can take your right hand to the outer upper left thigh and just sort of breathe. Try to, got a little crack there. Breathe down, opening the whole right side of the body now. So trying to bring the right shoulder to the earth. Just giving some gentle pressure on the outer upper right thigh for that leg stretch. You can just feel the stretch all down the right side of the body. And and then you can come back to center, hug the legs in again, hug the knees in. And I'm gonna take it.
And from this point, this is a very propoful class today. Grab your strap. So again, we're gonna be on our backs for kind of a while because it is so wonderful. So we'll have both our knees bent, soles of the feet fall on the mat, and it's up to you. We're going to bend that right knee in towards the chest and then take the strap around the ball of the right foot. You can either keep your left knee bent, or if you like, you can put your left hand on your left hip bone and straighten out that left leg. Just make sure that that left hip doesn't pop up from the ground too much. So that's why you can keep that left hand there if you like. From here, I've got both ends of the strap in my right hand, and the sole of my right foot is pointing up towards the ceiling. My knee is slightly bent, but that's okay. You can straighten and bend the knee if you like. And we're just going to draw the right elbow towards the ground. So bending the right arm to draw that right foot towards your face. Very slow, very gentle. Keep a bend in the right knee if you need it, particularly if you tend to hyperextend the knee. And the idea here is that the right shoulder is tracking towards the ground as well. Get a deep hamstring stretch for a little bit. Inhaling deeply, existing in your body. Exhaling completely. From here, if you have a block nearby, feel free to place it about 1.5 or so, or 1/2 meter from your right hip. We're gonna open out the right leg towards the right. And it's up to you. You can either rest the outside of that right shin on the block, or you can rest the right shin on the air. And feel free to walk your right hand a little bit higher up the strap if you like, if it feels comfortable to do that. Keeping that left hand touching the left hip, holding the left hip down here. It's very easy for the left hip to pop up here. If you're finding it's popping up too much, you can bend that left knee and draw the sole of the left foot to the ground. That's fine too. We'll open up to the inside of the right leg here. You can keep a micro bend in your right knee if you like. Totally not necessary. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. And when you're ready, we'll inhale that right foot back to stand on the ceiling. And at this point, you can take both ends of the strap, one in each hand. So Right hand holds right end, left hand holds left end. I'm bending both elbows to draw that foot more over my head. And yes, Brian knows what to do here. We're going to draw little circles on the ceiling with the right heel. So it's a weird kind of subtle stretch for the back of the right leg. For me, it kind of goes all the way down to my heel. Might feel totally different for you. Feel free to keep a bend in the right knee if you like. You'll still feel a deep stretch even with the bend. Try to keep the right foot as flexed as possible here. And when you're ready, we'll draw those little tiny circles the other way. At this point, if you have another block where you can use the same one, feel free to place it about 1.5 feet or a half meter away from your left hip. And if your left knee is bent, straighten it out, keeping the left hand on the left hip. Let's slowly bring that right foot over to the left, keeping both hips on the ground here. So you might find the right foot comes over to the left only about 3 inches or so. Totally fine. You might be feeling a dramatic stretch on the outside of the left leg or the right leg. And then when you're ready, we'll let that right leg come all the way over to the left, maybe resting the right, so many right to the left, resting the right calf on the block. And the right hip can come up off the ground, but this time try to keep the right shoulder on the ground. So you might actually have to kind of lift through the upper back, rest the right shoulder on the ground, rest the left shoulder on the ground, take the arms out into a T, and look out over the right shoulder. So an even deeper spinal twist than the one we did before. Not that it's a depth of spinal twist contest, but you know, let's keep a good thing going here.
Lots of twisting.
Lots of twisting, lots of digesting, assimilating, absorbing, and releasing. Ooh, hello. When you're ready, we'll lift that right foot back up to stand on the ceiling. You can take the strap off the foot, and then as if your foot is just filled with feathers, a feather, one feather, not a whole down comforter. Feel free to gently let that right leg fall towards the mat, possibly feeling quite long compared to the left leg. And when it gets all the way down, again, feel free to turn the toes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You can turn the hands up and down, up and down. You can look side to side gently. Don't whip your head around, but just kind of gently rotate from the hips, from the shoulders, from the neck. And then when we're ready, we'll do all that on the other side. Hopefully I remember it. So from here, we'll take both ends of the strap in each hand and put the strap around the ball. The left foot, elevating the left foot towards the ceiling. If you want to keep the right knee bent and the sole of the right foot on the ground, that's fine. If you want to straighten out the right leg and keep the right hand on the right hip bone, that's fine too. From here, we'll start bending the left elbow, drawing the left shoulder towards the ground as the left foot comes over our heads. Feel free to bend the knee as much as you need to. If you have any kind of hamstring injury, definitely bend your knee. Just gently breathe into it. As you inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, that foot might come a little bit closer to your face. Even if it's 1 millimeter, that counts. And then from here, we possibly have a conveniently placed block 1.5 feet away from our left hip, or a half meter away from the left hip. If that is the case, feel free to open the left leg out to the left and rest it on the block. So you might be resting. Hey, Ruby.
Thank you.
Anytime. You might be resting the outside of the left calf on the block. If it feels comfortable, you can even slide the left hand up the strap closer to the left foot, keeping a micro bend in the left knee if you like, bending the right knee and placing the sole of the right foot on the mat if you like. Not necessary, but an option. And breathe here for a minute. Feeling this deep opening. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale that left foot back up to stand on the ceiling. This time taking each end of the strap into each hand. We're just going to draw little circles on the ceiling here with the heel of the left foot.
Mm-hmm.
Just little tiny rotations coming from the hip. Woo. And possibly sending little shoots of energy towards the heel from different parts of the leg. When you're ready, we'll switch the direction, going the other way. This is a very, very relaxing practice today. It's sigh-inducing. What are you going to do? It's sigh-inducing after this.
I think we're going to start opening up shoulders and chest.
Oh, I love it.
Hearts and
Love
shoulders.
it. Yes, heart openers. What a great time for them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're ready, let's take both ends of the strap in the right hand. You can take, I didn't say this before, but that's a nice option. You can take the left arm straight out from the left shoulder and then just gently bring the left foot towards the right, only like 3 inches, like just a little bit, so that you can keep your left hip on the ground and your right hip on the ground. So very subtle, but also quite present. And subtle things off and on. And when you're ready, we'll lift that left hip and bring the inside of the left shin or calf to the block. So another spinal twist. At this point, feel free to lift up through the upper back and then sort of lay the shoulders on the ground. It's like you're draping your shoulders on the ground, keeping the left tracking towards the ground as much as the right. And when you're ready, we'll look over the left shoulder towards the left hand for a nice spinal twist. The whole spine gets its own in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're ready, if you're ready, no hurry. Feel free to inhale that left foot back up to stand on the ceiling. Left hip comes back to the ground. You can take a strap off the foot. The foot is made out of one feather. And we'll gently let that left leg float its way down to the ground. And then when it gets to the ground again, turn your toes in and out, in and out, in and out. Hands can go up and down, up and down. Head can look side to side, just loosening it all out. From here, feel free to stretch the arms long above the head. Legs can come together, stretching long like a pencil. And then we'll just roll off to one side or the other. And what? Come hands and knees?
Yes. How did you know?
I have this
You're
inkling.
so amazing.
You're so amazing.
Second down. And second.
I just knew. I have this inkling. So when you're ready, hands and knees, feel free to pad under the knees if the floor is bare wood or stone.
We're going to get into some cat-cowing. So wrists directly under the shoulders, knees directly under the hips. We're going to inhale, take the tailbone up, belly drops, head comes up. Exhale, drop the tailbone, round the spine, drop the head. So we're just going to go back and forth like that for a little bit. Inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. I like to see if I can make the motion start at the bottom of the spine and work its way up to the top, but you can do it any way that feels comfortable for you.
Take your time. There are a lot of vertebrae in the back.
And then when you're ready, we're going to start to bring a circular motion into the spine. So the next time you come into cow, on the exhale, round the ribs over to one side and round yourself into cat. And then inhaling, rounding the ribs to the other side, rounding into cow. So it's like we're making a circular motion with the spine. I like to imagine my torso was inside of a barrel, and I'm trying to rub it around every inch of the inner circumference of that barrel. Just let the head hang loose, let it hang with the spine. And then when you're ready, you can switch the direction that you're circling the spine.
Cracks and pops are normal.
And then we'll come back to a
And welcome.
and we come back to a neutral spine, and we're gonna do a
Ooh, I know it, right?
shoulder opener.
Thread the needle.
Yes, we're gonna thread the needle. So we're gonna spread the fingers really wide on the left hand. We're gonna twist to the right. Inhale that right arm up towards the sky. On an exhale, we're gonna thread the needle. So we're gonna take that right arm underneath of that left arm. We're gonna bring that shoulder to the earth. If you have a hard time making it reach, you can always roll up your mat or use a block or something like that. We're trying to bring the right shoulder to the earth. Maybe the right ear comes to the earth as well. And so maybe this is as far as you need to go in your shoulder opener here. That's fine. If you want to take it a little further, you can put the left hand on top of the right hand, interlace the fingers, and try straightening that top arm. Another thing you can try, if you like, is inhaling the left arm up to the sky and then bringing it down maybe to the sacrum. Check in with that sacrum, make sure it's not popping off to one side or the other, and then you can maybe even snake that left arm around, find the outer upper right thigh. And just wherever you got off the train on this pose, just keep breathing. If you went too far on the train, you can always go back.
Yeah,
Go back to one station.
Don't walk through the tunnel and don't step on the third rail. Whatever you do.
And then, however you are, we're gonna come out of this. We're gonna inhale, reach that left arm up to the sky. We're gonna exhale it down right next to the face, under the left shoulder. Inhale, pressing, coming up. Twist to the right, inhale that right arm up towards the sky. Exhale it down. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So spreading the fingers really wide on the right hand. We're gonna turn to the left, reach, inhaling up. Exhale, thread the needle. Take that left shoulder, left ear to the earth. Or pad, whatever you need to do to make this work. You want to stay here, that's fine. If you want to go a little further, same options on this side. You can take the right hand, put it on top of the left hand, interlace the fingers and try to straighten that top arm. You can also inhale that right arm up to the sky, bring it down to the sacrum. Make sure your sacrum is facing towards the earth and not popping off to the left or right. Maybe you can wind that right arm around to the outer upper left thigh. Wherever you are, just keep breathing deep all the way down into the belly. And to work our way out of this, we're going to inhale the right arm up to the sky. Exhale it down under the shoulder. Press in, coming up. Inhale, open out to the left. Reach that left arm up to the sky. Exhale. We're right back in the tabletop.
You gonna do it?
Okay. Well, no, you show the option, the
right,
easier
I'll give
option
people
on the
an
shoulder,
option.
and then I'll
So-
take it to the next one.
I sense with my yogic sensing skills that Brian's about to do playful puppy. If you know playful puppy and you want to go into it, that's fine. If you want to, dip your toes in the water and work your way in, walk your hands forward just a bit so that they're maybe your hands lengthen from your shoulders, and we're going to come down to our forearms here for rabbit posture. So this is good for people who maybe have rotator cuff injuries. Oh, hello, welcome, Joanne. And from here, what you want to do, this is really stretch for the upper trapezius and the neck, is tuck the chin and let the crown of the head rest on the ground. So if you have a rotator cuff injury or shoulder issue, this is your posture. If you do not, and you want to go deeper, Brian will be so good at demonstrating.
If you want to go deeper, you can take the hands out even a little further and then come down maybe to your forehead. You want to make sure you keep your hips above the knees here. Again, if you have any sort of shoulder issue and this is too intense on it, feel free to keep doing rabbit. If you're feeling really flexible in the upper back and it doesn't pinch you in any way, you can even come to the chin. Again, all different options. Get up on the train wherever is most comfortable for your body, where you're not hurting yourself.
And ideally your heart, sorry about that, ideally your heart is just melting towards the ground here for what is called heart posture as well as playful puppy. Anahatasana.
When we're ready to come out of this, we can just take it right back to tabletop.
If you're ready to come out of this.
Yeah, you can hang out.
But you know, I feel the great need to bounce.
Yes, that'd be good.
So from here, let's all come to tabletop whenever you're ready. If you need a little break, feel free to give yourself a child's pose at any point. Otherwise, we're going to tuck our toes, lift our hips towards the sky, keeping the knees as bent as you need to. And let's just bend one heel and bend the other, kind of milking a downward facing dog here. Make sure that you're not coming so far back into your hips that your shoulders come way up by your ears. So you want to keep your shoulders coming down your back. So if that is the case, just come forward a little bit through the torso. Lengthen the torso, lengthen the neck. Draw the shoulders towards the tail. Ah, yes. Milking the dog. Sounds so wrong. So when you're ready, we'll take our hands and grip your yoga mat, walking your hands back towards your feet. You can keep the knees bent here. We're coming into a forward fold at the back of the mat. Padagustasana.
Yeah.
All right, you or me?
Doesn't
All
matter.
right, I'll do Padagustasana.
And I'll do Padahastas.
Oh, how very nice. This is the Tweedledum and Tweedledee of yoga. So the poses, not me. And him. So from here, we'll take the first two fingers of each hand and slide them between the big toe and the second toe. So you have these little hooks almost. And we're going to fold forward, bending the knees, bending the elbows for Padagustasana. Feet are about hips width distance. That's about 2 fists width between the arches of the feet, give or take. And bend the knees as much as you need to, but really let the upper body drape over the thighs as you fold forward here. Maybe inhaling and lengthening the spine, exhaling and folding. As you fold, the elbows might come out to the side like elephant ears. That's totally wonderful and encouraged. Breathing deep. And when you're ready to come out of this, we'll take the palms of the hands to the shins and just lengthen up into a flat back. So inhaling your way up. We'll keep the spine long. I'll show from the side. So my head isn't up like this, but it's actually long. My neck is long. My cervical spine is long. My chin is tucked. Knees can be slightly bent here. This is very easy for you. You can take your hands down to the ground in front of you. That's fine. And then when you're ready, we'll come back down to Padahastasana.
So coming down on an exhale, now we're going to walk our hands underneath of our feet all the way up to the wrists.
So palms are face up. It's like the palms of my hands are touching the palms of my feet.
And the same sort of principle here. We're trying to keep the back nice and long. We're taking the elbows kind of out to the side, so we're using the traction of our hands and our feet to sort of lengthen and straighten the back. You can keep your knees as bent as you need to, and you can also experiment with straightening one knee or the other. Another thing to experiment with here is check out where your shoulders are and try to have them rolling down the back. So we want to try to keep an open heart in this. So even rolling the shoulders down on the back, trying to make the shoulders touch on the back.
Your quads might actually be feeling this. That's okay. You're going to get out of it and shake it off in a minute.
When you're ready, you can take the hands out. Again, let's come up into that flat back just to get a nice elongation of the back.
This time let's all take a block or two. You really only need one, but if you have to, why not be indulgent about it? So you can take a block or two just right under your shoulders here and rest the hands on the blocks. So even if your hands touch the ground, see what that's like to kind of be a tabletop with straight legs and straight arms. If you need to take the blocks down a level, or even take them away. Feel free, but let's all see what it's like to come into a flat back with the arms long, not touching the legs. You can bend the knees if you need to keep the spine nice and long. And then when you're ready, we'll exhale, folding forward, and then inhale, just swan dive gently to stand. Arms come up high above us. Exhale, hands down to the chest. If you're dizzy at all upon standing up, let's just shake it out right now, this second, because it's so good for you. And it's so good for when you do get dizzy. Another wonderful thing when you do get dizzy is 3 quick inhales through the nose. And that brings the oxygen to the brain. It makes you feel a little bit less. Whoa! So how are we bouncing? What's our bounce story today?
There is no correct way to bounce.
No bounce agenda?
No bounce agenda. You just do it. If you're feeling sort of way up in your head and you're needing some grounding, you can take the feet kind of wide and just kind of go like this. Shrug the shoulders down. Everything's going into the earth. If you're feeling already too grounded and lethargic and you need a boost and you need some energy, you can do more of a hopping kind of a thing.
Give yourself some side jumps, you know, how you can hop.
And you can play with both of them. And you can just do whatever you want. You can twist a little and
the bounce
throw your
and
hands
twist.
around.
The bounce and twist is an instant classic, so I think we might even come into the bounce and twist in a
Break dancing going on.
sort of more formal way. We have some top secret in-person yogis today, bouncing and twisting for our pleasure. So bouncing and twisting, oh, it's so great that I don't give a darn. Bounce and twist. Do you want to teach Tibetan twist?
Mm-hmm.
While we're at it, since you're the twist machine today.
Yeah.
Let's twist again like we did last week.
Okay. So we're gonna stop the bouncing and just come just to
Keep the twisting.
just to the twisting.
Cut that bouncing out.
So now we're trying to actually keep our hips kind of facing forward, and so most of the twist is happening in the upper body here.
So
Whoa, look out.
so
Whack your neighbor.
legs are solid here.
You can even turn your feet more straight ahead if you like, if that helps you to stabilize in this sort of a thing. And then what we're going to do is the hands and the arms.
Oh, I know what you're going to do.
The arms.
The harmful.
They're going to travel up the body. When they get to about chest height, we're going to take the elbows out. Take the palms down flat like we're skimming water at chest height. And we're going to add in a breathing exercise to this. So inhaling as we go to the right, exhaling with a shh as we go to the left. So continuing that breathing, let's turn the forearms up. Aim them at the head like goalpost arms, palms facing the head. And then we're going to take, continuing that breathing, we're going to take the arms out and down like about waist height. Maybe you pretend I have a manually, I have a hula hoop. I'm just manually spinning it around my waist. And then when you're ready, you can just kind of let everything come back.
Ooh,
to
more
center.
bouncing.
And then just
more
bounce a little bit, the
more
ground.
Twisting. Yes,
All right.
Anytime you feel up in your head, bouncing or squats, that's your jam. We are not going to do squats because my quads are very woof, but we are going to bounce and we're going to roll our hips, which is also really wonderful for opening up the energy in the hips. It's a spring and we do hip rolls. So feet are nice and wide, like maybe mat's width distance. And we're just kind of seeing what that orbit is like. How wide can that orbit go? This always looks so funny on the video. It's like some kind of 80s exercise thing. Ooh, hello, now it's turning into, what was that show that Rosie Perez was on? I have no idea. Yeah, it was a 90s dance show. Anyway, there we go. Now it is. When you're ready, we'll switch directions, unwind that orbit, go the other way. There's I don't want to say it's a yogic old wives' tale, but there's a belief in some practices of yoga that when you're spinning counterclockwise, the energy is going in and up, And when you spin clockwise, the energy goes out and down. So take it which way you need. If you need to send it up, try counterclockwise. If you need to ground, try clockwise. Either way, we'll shake it out again. And this time coming to figure 8.
Yeah. So we're keeping our feet right where they are, and we're gonna just do figure 8s with the hips.
So one hip comes forward and then goes back. Oh, and my other hip is forward. So I'm going to take it back. And you just go kind of like this. If it helps, perfect. If it helps to get the arms involved, one arm can come back as the hip comes back. It's like we're backstroking through the air. Yes, we can swim through the air just like birds or dragonflies. Why not? So snaking the spine side to side here, really making sure that the spine is limber and loose and flowing in an S curve. And then if that gets you up in your head, shake it out. Definitely gets me up in my head. Get back on the earth again. And then we'll take it the other way. So this time the butt leads forward and then the other butt leads forward. So the glute and then the glute. It's a little more awkward and might actually make more sense when bringing the arms in for the crawl. Kristen told us what this was the other day.
I think she said it was the crawl.
Breaststroke, the crawl.
I think she said this one was the
This is
crawl.
one of those swimming movements. You might even find it easier to just do the arms and then see if the hips want to follow that. And of course, you could always just do the arms, period. This kind of movement is not easy, doesn't always make sense, not necessarily intuitive, but who's looking? This is Zoom yoga. Nobody gives a shit. So feel free to shake it off. When you're ready, let's see how we're doing for time.
Yeah, let's see how we go for time. Do we have?
I actually do feel the need for slight grounding.
Yeah, okay, let's do that. We've been jumping around quite a bit now. So
Groove the
it's
spots,
time to
stay
take
tight,
it
what do you
down.
wanna do?
Ooh.
Oh, I was thinking pump iron and ground. Maybe it's just like
We can do guru squats.
guru the squats, guru the squats. It's not so intense. Guru the squats are feet are kind of at like a 3 meter wide distance. Feet are at a 45-degree angle. Rugs are getting torn up, as the case may be for us.
Oh my god.
I recommend the
Back to-
floor.
Yeah, I think
Just give it the
I'll try
floor.
the floor.
Yeah, try the floor. See, that's great. Nice and solid. So, inhaling, we'll bend the knees, keeping the knees tracking over the feet. The arms come up above the head. Exhale, standing back up. Take your time with this. No hurry. We'll inhale, squat. Exhale, stand. And the show from the side, it's very easy for me to have my knees come in when I come down, but we really want them to stay open. Inhaling, exhaling. Just a few more. Use the arms like a pump here. And then next time we come up, let's just inhale standing here, and then we're going to exhale, bring the arms above the head of the squat. Inhale and stand. So we switched our breathing. Exhaling, squatting. Inhaling, standing. Taking your time. When you're ready, we'll shake it all out. There's one last leg thingy I want to do before we get down. It's so simple, but it does reward you to have a wall or a piece of furniture to hold on to and a block to stand on. So, very, very simple, loose movement. I'm going to stand on a block, and with the same arm as the leg that's sitting on the block, I'm going to hold a wall or a piece of furniture or something. I'm just going to let the legs swing back and forth from the hip, very loose. Yes, a mantelpiece is perfect. And then from here, I'm going to let the arm go in the opposite direction of the leg. So as my leg comes back, my arm comes forward. As my leg comes forward, my arm comes back. Real loose. Let momentum move you here. You never hear that in a yoga class. Just use the momentum. Don't use your muscles. They get used enough. And we're loosening this one out. It's like your leg is a clapper and a bell. And then when you're ready, we'll just shake it out, turn around. Same thing, other leg. So holding your wall full of terrifying masks. Well, swing the leg first. You can keep the hand on the hip if you like, just to get, in the mode of things. And then when you're ready, leg comes back, hand comes forward. So just kind of like a shaking it off through the psoas muscle, through the front of that swinging leg. The swinging legs of the 2020s. And then when you're ready, you can just shake that leg off. Now we come to the ground and get real lazy about it. So, Frankenstein? You want Frankenstein?
Sure, we can
I
Frankenstein.
thought Heather told us a very nice Frankenstein the other day.
Oh, well, I don't know what
I
it
don't
is.
remember it either. I think the knees were together.
Oh, yeah, you can do
So
it that
to
way.
get onto
Okay.
the ground.
So to get on the ground, two ways you can do this, yes. So you can bring big toes to touch like this, spread the feet really wide, or if it's more comfortable for you to do with hips width distance, you can do it that way as well. Whatever is more comfortable for you. I'm
I
gonna go.
recommend the big toe touch just for the fun of it and try to keep the knees together.
And we're gonna come down, and as we're gonna squat down, coming down, and as we do, we don't want the legs to shoot off to the side. We want to keep them tracking straight down. So standing in tall in Tadasana. Let's take our arms out into what I call
Terrifying.
Frankenstein arms.
Terrifying.
And then we'll come up onto the toes.
So find something
toes.
that's maybe not moving.
And then we're gonna come down and keep our
Also from the side.
heels raised and try to keep the back straight
the
and try to keep your knees
together.
tracking forward.
So we're using our butt
Ooh.
kind of like a counterweight here to make our way down to the toe stand.
And then we're there, and then actually when we're done this, you don't have to do anything else, but just come on your butt.
just help it. We're done. And then when you do come on your butt, let's do mud flap girl, because why not, for old time's sake. So my hands are supporting me, fingers are pointing towards my hips. I'm just rocking hips back and forth. Like the lady on the mud flap.
Rainbow.
Ooh, the rainbow. How very nice. I'm so glad we called inside today.
Yeah.
And then, what kind of wonderful, delicious hip opener are you going to get us into next, Brian?
I don't even know what kind of time we have.
We have like 20 minutes?
Oh, really?
17 minutes.
All right, well, let's come into Baddha-Konasana, thank you.
And for this,
Bound angle,
if
feet
you'd
touching.
like to sit on a blanket here, that's an option.
And so check out where your spine is in this, and so, you don't want it to be like all curved like this, you want it to be slumped over like this, but when you have a nice tall spine, you can feel, when you have a tall spine, you should be able to feel both sit bones sort of grounding into the earth.
Ooh, here's a fun one too.
This is a fun.
This is a fun one. So we're going to take our hands on either side of the left thigh, and with our right hand, we're going to push the inside of the thigh down and in.
Right.
Left hand lifts the outside of the thigh out and up. So we just open the left sits bone. We're going to do it on the right now. So this time the left hand is on the inside of the right thigh. The left hand takes the flesh down and then some kind of leaning to my left side to move the flesh, move the abundance.
And then so you can just hang out here if you like. If you want to have forward fold, you can. I like to forward fold with you can also
yeah, we're gonna make a real thing out of this. This is gonna be like an official event. So
if you want to be really restorative about it, you can take a couple of blocks
one. And the bigger than
and put them under the knees.
And then from here, just lengthen the spine.
You can just kind of walk your way down. Some people like to kind of go, you can do like a back and forth thing as you come down.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Try to keep the
that
spine
like?
nice and long. What's it
a
like?
good metaphor for this? A leaf?
Yes, I think so. I think a
prematurely?
teacher once told us come down like a leaf, totally
Possibly
like a
the
leaf
teacher
and
next
fall, just gently gliding its way down to the earth.
Drifting down. Oh, we could say it's a maple seed pod. Drifting. Maybe balloon better than back or down to the earth.
Those aren't the helicopter.
They're kind of like a helicopter, but they come in zigzag on my way down. We're using poetic license here. If you prefer to not have blocks under your knees, you can always take them out. And if you like, you can always place one under your forehead.
That's another way to try it.
And if this is one, or if you're one of those people where this is like a very easy posture,
You can
for
put your head in your feet.
Oh, that's
Is that what you're saying?
no, no, you eager beaver. No, you can take your hands and actually kind of push down on the thighs as you come forward, and maybe even grasp your wrists behind your back. Some people like to do a breathing exercise here. We're not going to go through it, but if you like to do pranayama at this point and you want to do a couple of breath, you can. It's totally not necessary. It's more of the Tibetan practice. But when we come up, you can put your head in your feet because we're going to come up and try this again, but the rabbit, or no, the turtle version. So whenever you're ready, feel free to come up. Hands can come behind you. Gently lift the knees.
You can even take the outside. If it's hard to just lift them on their own, you can take them and grab them and do that.
You can mud flap. Mud flap.
And then
girl.
mud flap.
Mud flap girl. The most ancient of the yogic postures harkens back to the truck drivers of the Indus Valley civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Mud flap girl. Coming from there. So when you're ready, again, we're going to bring our feet into bound angle legs like we did before, but this time my feet are further away from my hips so that my legs form like a square almost, and we're going to do turtle. And turtle is really tough, so take it at your own pace. It's nice to have blocks around. They will be your friends here. So I'm going to lift my knees, slide my arms under them so you can see. So I'm sliding my forearms under my calves here. Then I'm going to let the knees come down, and I might just come to my forearms here. This in itself might be excruciatingly difficult. In that case, feel free to keep it as high up as you need it to be. If it's easy, feel free to rest the forehead in the arches of the feet, or you can take a block, put it between the feet, and rest the head on the block. That's one option. If this is extremely easy for you, Brian, we'll show off where the arms go next.
Oh yeah. You can take your arms the other way behind you.
Look at that. There we go.
And then if you're really super flexible and
You've got really wonderfully long arms.
you got long arms, you can actually grab the fingers behind your butt. I can't do that. I can only grab my butt.
Next life, at least you can grab your butt.
Mm-hmm.
That's something.
But I'm close. I can feel it.
You can feel your butt. Oh, yes, we're 10. So, anyway, at 10 years of age, we find ourselves here. So allow the body to really kind of round into this. You might find that the shoulder blades are kind of opening up here. That's fine. It is sort of a turtle shape that we're in. The back can totally round here. If you want to work on walking the hip bones back just a little bit and lengthening through the low belly, you can, but it's not necessary. And when you're ready to get out of this, no hurry. We'll come up in the torso, lift the knees, slide the arms back, lift the knees all the way, soles of the feet on the ground. You know what's coming next.
Mud flap girl.
Mud flap girl. That's probably a song, right? Isn't that like a Dead Mountain song or something?
That's punk rock girl.
We should have a Mud flap girl song too. If they were worth their salt. They were from Baltimore.
No, they were from Pennsylvania.
I know, that's why they don't have Mud flap.
Oh, okay.
All right, and then from here, what do we have time for? It's 11:00. Should we have a choose your own adventure version?
Yes, that would be a lovely suggestion.
I personally am always up in my head, so I'm going to do a very restorative inversion, which is simply to put a block under my hips here, and then lift the legs up to the ceiling.
So this is one inversion you can do if you like doing shoulder stand, headstand, handstand, legs up the wall, anything you want to do. We're just trying to get the feet up over the heart for the next few moments, few breaths. We're going to sit here and breathe very nice and deep.
If you are finding yourself in, this is called pike, or shoulder stand, or even headstand, really any of them, and you feel very solid here, you can actually draw little circles on the ceiling with your feet. So with your toes, really. It's like we're doing teeny little ankle rolls here. As the blood drains from our legs, it still keeps some life in the ankles. You might hear some pops and cracks, totally normal. Probably not a bad thing. Because that means you are lubricating your joints. And joints do love lubrication. Amen. When you're ready, switch directions. That's why I thought that sigh was like, Those joints sure do love their lubrication. But they really do. That's what keeps us from getting all creaky and crackly and old and unhappy about our joints. So keep them well lubricated. Just turning it back. You can flex the feet. Maybe straighten through the knees real hard. And then point the toes. Woo! Flex the feet. Point the toes. One more flex. Milk it. Maybe spreading the toes wide. And then point the toes. Fanning the toes out if you can. And then when you're ready to come out of whatever inversion you're in, feel free. If you're in pike like me, you can just draw the knees towards the hips. Lift the hips a little, remove the block. Let the hips roll back down to the ground, and we will do reclining mud flap curl. If you did shoulder stand, feel free to take fish. If you did head stand, feel free to take child's pose. If you did pike, feel free to let the soles of the feet rest on the ground. Knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. Arms are out in a T. And we're just going to rock the knees side to side, loosening through the low back, through the quadratus lumborum. And maybe I'm going to teach either Happy Baby or one more twist for good measure. Brian's choice.
Good Happy Baby.
Good little Happy Baby.
So coming back to center, or you can just keep doing that because it feels so amazing on our low backs. If you want to take a Happy Baby before coming into Shavasana, we bend the knees, take the feet to the ceiling, and you can grab. I like to give people the options. You can grab like this on the outside of the feet, or you can even grab on the inside of the feet. And I like to do this and just kind of press down activate my feet and just sort of press down. Really use that to kind of spread that Happy Baby. And then so feel free to rock side to side if you like. Sometimes some people like to straighten one leg as they rock to one side, straighten the other leg as they rock to the other side. Maybe you want to straighten both legs.
And then when you find yourself back to center, feel free to draw the soles of the feet together again. So it's like you're in bound angle. Yet again, cobbler's pose, they call this. And then open out the insides of the feet. Open out the knees, drawing the feet towards the hips. So it's like an upside down cobbler's pose. One more bound angle. Then we'll draw the knees in towards the chest, put the hands on top of the knees, and we'll just draw little circles with the knees in one direction. One more time, massaging the low back. And then we'll take them the other way. And at this point, take what you need to get comfortable for Shavasana. You might find your Shavasana is dramatically not on your yoga mat. That's totally fine. You might find you resting your foot on your friend. That's fine too. From here, so legs are coming out from the hips straight down, or kind of at a V. Arms are coming out from the shoulders. Maybe each hand is about a foot away from each hip or wider. Let's lift through the hips just a teensy bit to tuck the tail. Lift the head and tuck the chin slightly to rest the back of the head, the occiput, right on the ground. And then lift the heart ever so slightly. Bring the shoulder blades together and lower them back down towards the ground. If you're wearing glasses, feel free to take them off. Put them somewhere to the side where you know you're not going to roll over on them and smush them. And just allow the edges of the face to soften. The edges of the heart to soften. And the edges of the mind to soften.
Start to bring your awareness back to your body, back to your breathing. You can deepen your breath. You can start to get some motion into the body by maybe moving the toes and fingers. You can even roll the wrists and ankles if you like. You can turn the head side to side. We're going to stretch really long on the mat. So let's bring the feet together. Press out through the heels. Bring the hands up overhead and inhale and stretch really long, elongating on your mat. And then with your next inhale, go ahead and bring the knees into the chest and just give yourself a hug. If you want to give yourself a rock, that's fine too. We're going to make our way up to seated. Come up however you like. If you want to rock to one side and take a pause there, you can do it. Just rock straight on up. Do that as well. We'll find ourselves in a comfortable seated position. Oh, and let's do a couple of rounds of prana mudra to sort of seal this practice in. So we'll take the hands out to the side.
Wait.
Oh, take your time. Take your time coming up. Not everybody's there yet.
That was so relaxing. If you want to sit on a blanket, that's fine too.
We're going to start out with the hands to the side here. We're going to inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, pressing palms down. We're going to do that one more time. If you want to move the spine with it, you can sort of open the chest here and then sort of round the spine on the way down. Next inhale, we're going to inhale one more time and hands this time touch overhead. Palms touch. Exhale, palms to heart center. If you want to join us in the sound of Om, you may. We're going to just do it once. So if you're ready, when you're ready, take a deep inhale. Thanks for practicing with us today. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.
Great job. Thank you much. Next week, we can't guarantee exactly that we'll be teaching at 6 o'clock. It depends where we're going to be because we're about to go on a road trip. But we will be teaching on Zoom if we have service. So hopefully see you next week.